This is the Seahawkers podcast, and we are back as we're leading in to the Seahawks third round pick coming up here in just a few minutes. Here I am joined by Josh. He's back in here, as well as my good buddy Adam Emmert. We've seen some dudes come off the board here over the last few picks. I don't think there's anybody that really hurt. I mean, if you're looking at guys in terms of positions of need, like defensive tackle Byron Young from Alabama, but I guess there's a linebacker out of Sac State that just went to the Patriots ahead of the Rams.
Yeah, the only ones that hurt, I really think, are back in the second towards the end. John Michael Schmitz went to the Giants, and Cyrus Torrance went to Florida. But I mean, there's still some good interior offensive linemen available, like Andrew Voorhees from USC, who's a good solid guard there. He was a starting guard for a while, so he's still available. And
Torrance went to the Bills. You said Florida, but Torrance out of Florida.
He's out of Florida.
Went to Buffalo. Yeah, that one was a little bit tough because in terms of offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs going to the Texans at the back end of the second round was a little surprising that he went that high. But another center off the board with Scruggs going there, and do have some interesting dudes here still on the board. Ika out of Baylor, Siaka Ika, Kobe Turner out of Wake Forest, still there. Yeah,
I'm hoping for Ika, man. That's it. They do that, then okay, then I'm back to being good. Yeah.
So you're going to be disappointed if they. What is it okay if they go guard though here?
Yeah, no, it's totally okay.
You want interior.
Some interior now.
But the thing is the way things are going here, they could just keep going with guys that, best player available type guys as we continue on down the board. It kind of seems like the theme so far.
It surely could. At some point, the best player available needs to be like, I don't know, in the interior. Like it's got to happen, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. And either way, there's also Trenton Simpson, interior linebacker. But honestly, if we're going linebacker, I'm almost hoping for a Dayan Henley out of Washington State. He's also an interior linebacker. Those two, if we're going front seven, kind of interior, both of those are middle linebackers who can stop the run and be explosive enough to get to the quarterback. So, linebacker, I say defensive tackle, guard, linebacker. It's got to be one of those three here that we pick here. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, why?
To be tight end.
It feels like it should be a position of need, but I mean, we'll see. Trenton Simpson, did you mention him at linebacker? He's a guy who's still on the board. Guard. Who do we have? Let's see. Oh well, while I look for some of the guards.
Yeah.
Adam, did you spend the break watching highlights of the Seahawks' new running back?
I had me a glass of Charbonnet. I did, and I will say that I believe he'll be a good complement to K9. You guys are both right about him being a bit more of a power back, but I have a car. It's a Jeep Patriot. And it's a little 4-cylinder and all that. And my favorite thing about that car is that there's not one thing that it does amazing, right? It just kind of does everything pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like if I want to go up a kind of gnarly-ish trail, you can kind of do it. You cruise down the highway nice, you can kind of do it. You kind of go through all the different gas mileage. Yeah, it's decent. It kind of does it. That's Charbonnet to me. Like watch his power runs. I'm like, yeah, he can kind of do that. And then you see that he's got a little more shiftiness than maybe some of the power backs that, most people are accustomed to. And then his hands really are great. He does catch the ball really well, and he can make a dude or two miss. My favorite thing, though, about watching his stuff here was that he actually never takes a loss, almost never takes a loss. It's always falling forward. It's this tough yards. I texted Clinton and he asked me what I thought, and meat and potatoes running back. Like, this is a guy that can go in there and eat carries and be efficient, and he can bust one now and then. So I like it. It was a need for sure. I think he's certainly an upgrade over future Hall of Famer Terrell Davis clone Travis Homer. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased. He reminds me, his running style is a little too upright for me, but compared to a lot of backs, he reminds me of a 20-pound lighter Eddie George, but with better hands and a little more shiftiness.
Jacob Wilson saying, "Who's the new guy with you?" Yeah, Josh was here with us in the first half of day.
Yeah.
2,
Are you new, Jacob?
Jacob? All right. where were you earlier today?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Josh DeHuman from the Discord. Josh joining us to break down some of these day 2 picks. So we may have Phil joining us as well now that we're getting. I think he's done with soccer, so he may join us here as well too. And we are just 3 picks away officially, with the Steelers on the clock, Titans coming up after the Steelers, and then the Bucks before the Seahawks. Looking at some of the other picks that just came off the board, Zach Harrison, edge player, went to the Falcons. I think I mentioned Mapu from Sac State as linebacker. Byron Young, the other Byron Young, not the Alabama Byron Young, but the Tennessee Byron Young, goes to the Rams. He's an edge defender, whereas the other Byron Young's interior defender. Tucker Kraft, South Dakota State tight end, and wide receiver Josh Downs went to the Colts. Kraft and another tight end went to the Packers. How many tight ends are they drafting?
All of them.
All the tight ends.
All of them. Yeah. Well, I mean, who's been their tight? Is it Mercedes Lewis has been their tight end for the last few years? I mean, he's eligible for AARP, right? Like, you're going to need some young guys.
We got some mic issues going on with you, Josh?
Oh, he was frozen for a sec.
No, I don't know. Well, I may
Okay.
just hop back in and see.
Okay.
Because I hear some crackling. I'm not sure if it's me or.
Yeah, it might be a StreamYard issue.
I blame StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not your fault, Josh.
All right, 911, our live executive producer, hopping in with a $9.99 super chat for running back love.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it, Ryan. As always, my man, you're a fantastic supporter.
Was there a pure power back on the board when Charbonnet was taken? I don't know if there was a.
I'd say, again, I keep going back to Roshan Johnson, but he's definitely more of that. Just a big dude.
Yeah, and he was still, I think he may even still be on the board.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of those things where, well, I guess it depends on how you grade out some of these guys. Johnson, you could probably get 7th round though, and maybe they still go there.
Yeah. As far as the Charbonnet, I'm not saying that he's a bad back with power. He's just like Eddie George Light is all, and that's fine. And for a guy that's going to come in and just try to alleviate some of the pressure off of K9, then that's great. I mean, K9 is just electricity in a bottle.
Yeah.
And that's not what Charbonnet is. Charbonnet is more like the guy who just kind of gets it done. And I love the fact that he's always churning. It's always, a couple yards forward. He falls forward every time. And man, he does finish runs. So, yeah.
And he's got a little bit of a top end speed to him too. Like if he gets out in space, he can run away from defenders. He doesn't have the top end speed like K9 does, obviously, or else maybe he goes a little bit earlier in the draft. But I think
he needs a long runway to get to that.
Well, and you see what UCLA did with him too, is a lot of times they were throwing it to him out of the backfield just to get him in space because he had that shiftiness to make guys miss. And so that's the way that they used him quite a bit. Josh is back.
There we go.
That seems
Michael
like an
Video's
improvement.
87. More running backs, please. We could get one more late, but there's
late
some other
one.
areas I could see him addressing first.
A late one wouldn't be bad. Getting like at the Dwayne McBride in one of the later rounds, I wouldn't mind. That's fine. But I think if with the guys that we have now, I think we kind of have like a bit of everything that we kind of need. So running back wise, I'm not as concerned about. But yeah, let's interior, please. Like middle linebacker, defensive tackle, guard. One of those three, please.
Or like Adam was saying with Johnson, one criticism I think I had for Charbonnet is really as far as a goal line back, he was not that solid as a goal line back from some of the plays that I was watching. So a lot of times
on par with Bijan that way, though.
Yeah, and really, I mean, Walker is not a stellar goal line back either. So if they could find a power guy that you could plug in right there on the goal line, and I didn't see a whole lot of
Nick Ballore. That's what
Ballore. We need more Ballore.
Yeah.
Phil, welcome back.
Hey, good to see y'all. I was so bummed I didn't get to be in here earlier today, but I was getting to do lots of soccer coaching, and now I'm trying to scarf down the pizza. Hope nobody minds.
Not at all. I only have one important question.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Tomorrow is the big game. Today was
it was just
training.
Okay.
It was just training. And then my daughter had I went over to her training, and they had scrimmage, and she was dominating. She had the goals, the assists. She was behind everyone. So that was good to see.
I think we saw some Charbonnet in short yardage situations, just like I was talking about as far as goal line, when the lines really stacked up. I didn't see a lot of breakthrough type runs, but I suppose you could carry that to third down, but it didn't seem to be as much of an issue until you got to the goal line when it was stacked up.
I thought you liked Charbonnet, Brandon.
I did. Yeah. I really like him. My one criticism was the goal line runs.
Yeah. I think as far as short yardage or traditional short yardage, third down and short, that sort of thing. He was slightly above average.
What's my take so far, Ryan?
Yeah. Inspiring people want to know. Inquiring people want to know.
I kind of was hoping we'd get Charbonnet. He wasn't my top guy, but he was in that next tier area. I mean, it's a need. And I still, like I was saying yesterday, we can get the space-eating run stoppers tomorrow, so not the end of the world there. I'm interested on this pass rusher to look into him a little bit more. Did you guys like him? Did you like our early pick there?
Yeah. As far as the pass rusher, I was watching more Charbonnet over the break than I was our new pass rusher with Hall. With Hall,
Derek Hall. Yeah, I thought he was expected to go a little bit later, so I was a little bit shocked. But the read up on him, I mean, that looks interesting. I've not watched Derek Hall play much. I mean, I think I've seen Auburn, but he didn't jump out to me. It's obviously something we could use since our outside linebackers don't have much left on contracts, right? Besides Mafe, everybody else will be gone after this year. So we need to get someone in the chamber. I don't know that he's going to be a difference maker right away from everything I'm reading. What was your take on it, guys?
Well, after listening to some other folks talk about it during our little break here, actually listened to what Rob Staten had to say. He was fired up for this pick. He really felt like this was a home run. And one of the things he touched on a lot in his video was that Hall is a guy who is a leader of men. He's one of those guys in the locker room. And he really feels that a lot of what's happening in this draft, like with the Witherspoon pick, is trying to find those leaders of tomorrow. And that's one of the areas that he really liked about Hall coming in.
Tajay Spears off the board to the Titans. Man, they are loaded up at backup running backs behind Henry.
Right, they are.
DJ Johnson went to the Panthers, edge out of Oregon. And we are coming up soon. It's just the Bucks ahead of us, and then we got the Seahawks pick.
You guys got a pick on who we're going to get?
If we go guard, I would think it'd probably be someone like an Andrew Voorhees. He's one of the top guards that's left. If it's linebacker, I mean, if we're staying close to home, it's Henley, I would imagine, because they would have seen a lot of tape on him since he's Pac-12.
Simpson's pretty good too.
Simpson's the top guy left for linebacker-wise, but Henley's not that far behind him. And there's some people that like Henley more than Simpson, so it's kind of neck and neck there. But
Darnell Washington could be a good one, a good blocker.
Yeah,
and then Addy
sounds like he's kind of sliding based off of his knee.
Yeah.
Is it?
So
how do we feel about Addy Tumwa?
I mean, he's light for a defensive tackle, but I mean, if you're not looking for like a run, more of a run stuff, you're looking more for a guy that can go in between like those middle interior offensive linemen and get to the quarterback, he'd be your guy. If you're looking more for something like that run stopper, like fill the room, kind of like a Captain Firearm side of the guy, you'd go with Ika.
Yeah. Okay. Because Adatumwa was he scored pretty well in the drills, for what I remember. Right, he's pretty athletic for his size. Now, Dawan Jones is somebody that Adam and I have kind of been interested in.
Yeah.
Big, huge dude that they brought in for a visit. Possible just a plow on the inside.
Yeah,
that could make it really interesting.
He's still out there. Kobe Turner out there at defensive tackle, along with Siaka Ika.
I'm having a hard time saying who this will be. I could see a trade down because there's so many players, but Henley would be super fun as a personality. I don't know if it's the right choice, but it'd be super fun.
Oh,
they're going to take Will Levis right here.
Thanks. I did watch the early part of the show while I was driving around. Don't tell anybody. I had a lot of drives, and I kicked on that first part, and I saw you nailed your Will Levis pick, Adam.
Yeah.
First try.
Yeah. First try. Nailed it.
This would be
we trade out to the Broncos. Why are we doing the Broncos favors? Like, we don't need to give them any favors.
Did we?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, if we're trading out with the Broncos, that's a ways back.
Where were they?
I don't think they're until next round.
Oh boy, what are we taking next year? Second rounder? You're against them again.
Well,
oh my!
I mean, it was bound to happen.
Is that a real thing? We traded out with the Broncos?
Yes, we did. As of I just saw it on Twitter myself. We traded back.
Did we get a player?
I don't know.
I mean, unless it's a player, it better be in next year's second round, because I don't know how they could pay us back with this draft.
Yeah.
Well, it could be multiple picks that allow them to then get back into the tail end of this round.
This is really cramping my style for the night, John.
We were all excited for something right here. There's so many choices.
Well, and the bummer of it is too, is if they don't get back in, we've got a pick to the Rams, 2 picks to the Cardinals, one of them that they traded back, and then one of their comp picks, and then 3 Niners comp picks.
Yeah, nothing but a symphony of sadness, Brandon. Nothing but a symphony of sadness.
So we can watch our rivals take
all the players we want.
Players that we would have wanted.
This Friday night is not going how I was hoping. I didn't get to be a part of the draft, and now my one chance to be here.
Yeah, they trade out.
It was for all this.
It was bound to happen. We knew John was going to trade at some point here.
He said he wanted to, so yeah.
Has anybody got Twitter open yet?
I haven't seen. I normally get the status notifications. I haven't seen what we've gotten yet.
Bob Condota says the Seahawks have traded with Denver. Hopefully this goes as well as most Seattle Denver sporting things have of late.
Okay, here it is. We get a 108. We get a 108 and a third rounder next year.
Hey, we get to root against them one more year, really?
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
A third rounder and 108.
Yeah. So
another 20, 30 picks.
Yeah, that's a bummer because it looked like there was a lot of quality there. I guess we just really like having extra picks, especially Denver ones.
Early in the
again,
fourth.
for where their needs are, if you're looking for another dude on the offensive line on the interior. If you're looking for defensive interior players, that's more of the sweet spot. Obviously,
You could always
guy
trade
here.
You could always trade that future third to get back in too.
You could.
Yeah.
What it
So we have
does.
123. Huh? So we get 2 picks next round.
Oh, 2 next round. Like the one we already had, or we also got another one from Denver. The one we already had.
So we have 108 and 123.
Which was already ours, right?
Yeah, that's already ours.
Yeah. So here's what it
108
does,
is the new one. So it's only what's that? 6 picks into tomorrow.
Yeah.
It lets Russell Wilson play for us one more season. Another chance to get a halfway curse.
I have a hard time, rooting super hard for just a better spot in the 3rd round, but
it precedes all the comp picks though. It's still it's not that fun. You're right. A 2nd rounder would have been
not
way
as
more
fun as a 1st or a 2nd rounder.
Yeah.
I'm just so that 3rd round pick next year, can it play against the run in the interior this year? Is it able to do that? Because I don't think it is.
Well, let's take a look here, Adam. I think we can get a lot of good run stuffing stuff tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Surely hope so.
But we could have taken Ika right here, so that I don't get that. But he,
I mean, for tomorrow we could get
Jalen Redmond from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You like him, right, Brandon?
I don't like anybody on defense from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Keandre
They
Cox.
don't play defense.
Facts.
What about Jacqueline Roy? He's good at taking on double teams. He's good on the move in the zone run game.
It's a little bit of a plus run defender, huh?
Yeah. Jacqueline Roy, he's expected in the 130s by some. Scott Matlock from Boise State, quick and active hands. There you go, quick and active hands, Adam. I know you like that.
I do. You know what I'd do if he was on the board when I was picking? I'd run straight to the podium.
That's the quip.
Yep.
Ability to get into the gaps defending the run. I mean, the reality is a rookie probably isn't going to make the difference in the run game this year. We need to pick up like one of those tuba kind of guys that we get every year that we haven't done the last couple of years quite so well besides Big Al. We need to get some of those grizzled veterans that are just ready to eat up some blockers and keep our linebackers free.
Yeah, good to hear from Ron. It's been a minute. Good to see you, bud. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little anticlimactic to hop back on for our pick and then to have them trade out. But
right. Yeah.
Could we see them trade back in?
Probably
not.
I just think it's unreasonable for us to think that a rookie is going to save our run defense. I don't know about you guys.
No, it's not. I don't think we're talking about finding somebody who's going to save it. I think it's mostly just stacking depth because where is their depth? It's kind of like at linebacker. Like, where's the depth at linebacker? We were calling for that last year, and in taking linebackers
would have been nice.
I think out of almost all the positions in the world, to be just a massive defensive tackle and trying to, even if you're just playing a one gap scheme, like it's not like it's going to take 2 years for a rookie to figure it out. I think they actually could make an immediate impact. And I think it is a big deal because you start looking at free agency and things that, going forward with the cap space and all that, man, there's just not a lot of extra bucks there. So what are you going to do? I don't know that there's a bunch of guys you can just go out there and just get.
I was kind of the opinion going into free agency too. Those guys aren't expensive. They're not that hard to pick up in the draft toward the middle of the rounds. I mean, guys going at defensive tackle early are going to be the guys that have more pass rush capability. And, Moro Jomo's still out there for the Longhorns, I think. I know he
Moro
was
Jomo and Keandre Coburn. Those both of them are still available that I've seen so far. And I mean, as far as free agent defensive tackles, we still, if you can find room money wise, Shelby Harris is still available. We can bring him back. Al Woods, we can bring him back. Puna.
I don't know if I'm that into bringing guys back who were bad last year, though.
I
Yeah,
mean,
100.
I mean, if we want to go veteran who we know could stop stuff, and Ndamukong Suh is still available. We can just bring him back for one more season and just have him just stomp on people's ankles.
I saw him on Rich Eisen's show a week ago or so, and they were talking to him about, hey, are you going to retire? What's going on here? He's like, look, I'm just probably going to do what I did last year. I'm just going to wait till about half the season's over, look for a contender, and go ring hunt. Like, so I mean,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I'm not mad at him for it. Just doesn't do us much good.
No.
How about this, Adam? Broderick Martin, 6'5", 337 pounds, expected to go in the 150, 160s, a massive nose tackle, tough to move off the ball with one blocker, long arms to stack blockers, flashes the ability to disengage in time to make the play. There's your guy.
The only minus I heard there was he's not Polynesian. And because I like those dudes in the middle, but he can play next to two traffic cones, like Cool Vid was saying here.
Yeah.
You know,
Deion Henley off the board to the Chargers.
Oh,
Yep.
the dream is over.
The dream is over. No, that's
Dream
too
is
bad.
over for Henley.
that was short lived.
Yep.
But I mean, Trenton Simpson and Noah Sewell still out there, I believe. So
Yeah.
on the
I'm just not fired up about linebacker picks.
No, I know.
Because
I'm with you on the position. He's just such a fun character.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was more the personality than the any kind of. I mean,
He's a
well,
former
he's
receiver.
he's good.
He's a former receiver, so he runs the tight ends routes for them sometimes. That was his better play.
That's nice.
He's probably not our helper in the run game either.
Well, especially if you can't keep dudes off of him. Like, how good can Bobby be when he doesn't have Donald and all those dudes up in front of him like he did last year? I just,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
back
so
Alba.
fundamental. It's just so freaking fundamental. And I have a feeling tonight, half the 12s out there are going to be in full freak out mode. And there's going to be a lot of people crapping on Pete and John tonight in the comments of a lot of videos.
Saturday all along has been the plan for D tackle, I think, because that's where you get your just run stuffer, take up blocker only guy.
We need 3.
I bet you they bring back one of the guys, one or two of the guys that they
Al
let
or
go.
Puna.
Yeah, Al and or Puna. Probably some combination like that. It's one of them or both of them that they're going to bring back. And they're just going to draft one of the rookies tomorrow.
And I was kind of hoping for an interior O-line difference maker, but I think that might be bypassing us. I don't know the top of first thing tomorrow if we can get one of those or not, but I was kind of hoping for that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're
How
looking
comfortable
for
are you?
competition.
How comfortable are you with another Phil playing guard this year?
He's serviceable.
Phil is pretty good when he's not hurt.
He's not a difference maker, but he knows the scheme. He's been there for a while. He's a big body. He knows the coach. He knows the scheme.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's not to the level of like Damian Lewis, but he's not like bottom of the barrel. So
he doesn't ruin plays for Gino. He's not the one that's guilty for destroying offensive plays when it comes to in the passing game. I mean,
No.
But he's
Jake
not
Curran
a difference maker in the run
spot
game either.
too.
What's that?
Jake Curran can compete for that guard spot too.
He's a backup, and I like having him as a all-around backup. I do not want him starting. We need a guy like Jake Curran. It's great to have.
Trent Simpson to Baltimore.
Okay, here they go. It must be linebacker time.
Linebacker time.
Mm-hmm.
So on JSN, he's going to make a big difference in a lot of the areas because our offensive program is a little bit like the Rams, and he's got a lot of the Cooper Kupp type style to him, where he's an inch shorter, always gets open, tracks the ball as good as anybody you've seen. I mean, I used to go over here to Eastern and watch Cooper Kupp, and he's always tracking, he's always open, even better as he's got into the league beyond what you might have expected. But when you watch when you watch JSN, he is doing those kinds of things. I think our OC is doing backflips with the kind of offense that he's going to be able to put in. And when you get him nervous about the quick game, it's a lot easier to run because all those guys at that second level are trying to watch out where he is. He's good at beating zone. He's good at beating man. I think that's going to help us in the run game. I would have liked another O-liner, but then you also would like another interior defensive, and we didn't get either of those. So I'm trying to look at what I am excited about.
Well, one of the things about comparing him to Kupp and the usage rate in the offense that I think is important is one of the reporters brought it up in the press conference last night with John and Pete. Kupp is in the slot something like 91% of the time, and they're running 3 wides like that much, and we're running it like 50% of the time. And then they asked Pete about it, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't really see us increasing that at all. I really like our tight end group. So, okay, so you bring in JSN, and we do need a wide receiver 3. I do recognize it's a need. I do feel like it's on the lower end, but the amount of impact that he may bring, I don't think is going to be quite as high as maybe a lot of us expect right out of the gate. And especially rookie wide receivers, they usually take some time on top of that.
I mean,
he can return punts though. He can. I've seen him return some punts.
That'd be exciting.
But Adam, do you like extending drives and getting first downs?
I sure do. And you know how you do that? You know how you do that? You stay ahead of the sticks by running the piss out of the ball. Like, so you're not dropping back to pass all the time. So now you're in 3rd and 4 rather than 3rd and 8 after, no,
you can run plenty, and then when you get into a situation where you need to pass, you got a dude that's always open.
I mean, we've got DK and Tyler for that.
That guy named Mike missed out on the trade. Traded with the Broncos.
Yeah, that pick called the 3rd is gone now. That's what happened to it.
I can't believe we traded a 3rd and got a 3rd next year.
Well, we got a 3rd next year, but we also got their early 4th rounder.
Yeah.
So it's like getting 2 4th round picks.
Because of all the comps, though, it's like a even though it's an early 4th rounder, it's a big drop. That's a big drop.
Yeah, because you miss all the.
This draft is starting to get frustrating.
Is it?
It is.
I'm sensing the Adam frustration coming through the screen a little bit.
The only pick that I genuinely love is Witherspoon. Like, I get it if you don't feel like the rest of the top tier D tackles and edge players and all that like either fit your scheme or personality wise or as a Seahawk, whatever it is, that's fine. And so you go and you pick Witherspoon, who is a top tier talent, and it makes sense within the defense. There is a spot for him. He's going to play. I get it. And then it's like some filler in the areas that we could use some filler, but not the ones that we need, like some filler. And I
need to be sold on Derek Hall. I love day one. I need to look into Hall more. It looks like he's really good in the run, but we have Mafe. That's the thing we do have. I want a dynamic, destroy them in the passing game kind of pass rusher myself. And I don't know if you said Rob thought Derek Hall could be that, or is he just great again in the run game?
He's a quick off the edge guy.
Yeah. He ran fast.
I just don't know if he's the if he were he would have been a 1st rounder if he would have really been a game wrecker type off the edge guy. But
everything I'm reading, he's a rangy run defender, chases with excellent effort, but he can't get off blocks real well. He sounds like Mafe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, he's been described as a plus version of Mafe. So
okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. And I like Mafe. I do. I'm curious, the folks that are listening and everything. Like, I'd like to see more comments. How you feeling? Like, I just because I feel like I'm maybe more on the frustrated end than most folks. Phil's kind of like, yeah, man, it's gonna be fine. I'm curious.
I don't like this trade down. That's been my biggest disappointment is the trade down. But
except you would have been happy had we traded the late 1st rounder or the early 2nd rounder.
I would have been, if there was anyone I wanted to trade, it was pick 5.
Okay. So did a little piece of you die when Mayer went off the board? Like I thought I heard a tear all the way in Montana roll down your cheek.
So I wanted Mayer because I never thought JSN would fall to us, for one. And then when it was a couple picks away, I'm like, there's no way we're going to let him go past if we can't trade down. So we got him. I was stoked. I wanted a difference maker that we were going to use on third down, like in the passing game. JSN is the ideal player that I wanted. If I could add anybody to our offense, that's probably the number one player I would have liked to add it to our offense this year. Mayer, I was thinking as a Seahawk type player, he'd be perfect because he's an all-around tight end. Obviously, a lot of GMs didn't see it that way. He fell quite a ways. After we went ahead and invested in the offense with JSN, I was actually at him. I was hoping we were going to really start hammering the defense or get us one difference maker up front in the interior line. I don't really need another pass catching type player now. In fact, even the Charbonnet pick, I'm like, okay, he's probably good, but why don't we get a later backup running back and still deal with this problem we're having on the interior on both sides of the trenches? I don't quite get why we're overlooking that. I mean, I love the first two players, but after that, I'm a little bit, I can be convinced, but right now, I guess I got to start watching some highlights to turn the corner on today.
I wonder if this trade down is indicative of the idea that both Pete and John are looking at this in terms of, okay, we're not just one draft away, we're 2 drafts away.
Oh, yeah.
Let's squirrel another third. We can work on the interior next draft. The guys just aren't at the caliber that we like at the positions that we are, or, position where we're picking. And we'll just kick the can down the road again and get jellied all freaking season.
Maybe they don't see any difference makers, right? Like it's not worth taking them if they're not a difference maker at that spot.
Anybody's a difference maker over literally nobody. Like, because that's basically where we're at.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on if you think that do you think it's a coaching issue in stopping the run, or is it a talent issue in stopping the run?
I think it was growing pains from last season. I honestly believe it was growing pains, and we have players that were used to the old system and they just weren't used to this newer style that we were going from. Like, we went from the traditional Pete Carroll defense to the Vic Fangio defense, and our players weren't used to that. So there was some growing pains and just really trying to figure things out. We took away like a lot of the lead, like the people on our front seven that were used to that, like being leaders. Like, we took away Bobby Wagner, and so we kind of lost the heart of the defense of Bobby Wagner. That was gone. And then people are trying to learn the Vic Fangio defense, and that's different than Pete's defense. So now this season, if they do return, they will have had a year of the Vic Fangio defense. New people, hopefully the people that they do choose, fit more of that Vic Fangio defensive style, so they're used to that, and they'll be able to incorporate it more.
Just noticing that the Rams just chose a defensive tackle, and that just about made me break my iPad.
I got a notification that Antonio Brown came out of retirement, is playing for the Ravens this year, and I'm like, why?
Oh, they took the guy that I wanted too. Rams took Kobe Turner.
Yeah, Kobe Turner's gone now. Yeah,
he's not huge.
He's big enough.
288.
He's not a nose, but.
Yeah. No, I mean, we don't have an actual nose on our team unless Monet somehow has a miraculous recovery. We have 0 noses.
And that's the thing. So we were talking about this Fangio thing and a 3-4. Like, you have to have a freaking dominant nose tackle. The Bills got bounced from the playoffs last year with one of the most talented teams in the NFL because their nose tackle was hurt.
Yeah.
And they couldn't stop the run.
Yeah. This Fangio we need to get some guys that can do it for sure. I'm in agreement with that. I mean, maybe Charbonnet is going to be awesome. Maybe we're going to have the best offense in the NFC, and it'll be fun.
It's not how you win football games. It's not.
But who would play nose that's come off the board to this point that we'd be really disappointed that we missed out on?
I haven't seen.
Have there been any guys who are nose tackles that have even come
Nope.
off the board?
Not
Again.
well. Let's see. No. If you're under
All
3,
the noses,
I guess I'm not going to be too disappointed over somebody that we didn't miss.
all the noses are supposedly Saturday guys because they
Yeah.
can't rush the passer.
Right.
yeah. I'm looking at like the defensive tackles. I'm like, if you're the only one, not Keanu Benton's 309, but even so, you need to be like 320 plus.
That's why I
Like,
said Broderick Martin, 337.
Yep.
Never going to rush the passer, but he's going to hold up blockers so that Bobby and our other guys
You
can
have
make
flow.
What's that?
Then you have flow.
You got to be able to. I think a lot of our linemen are, pass rusher. They're likely above average-ish pass rushers, and maybe Draymond's, a plus pass rusher. Jaron's a decent pass rushing lineman. I just don't see any block eating linemen on this team right now. Is that fair to say?
No, that's fair to say. The only person so far that you could maybe consider a nose is Mozzie Smith, and he's 321, and he could easily put on 10 pounds in the offseason.
That would have been the guy.
That would have been the guy who we did not draft. But like, even so, like, you look at people that are still left. You have the two Texas guys who are, both of them are fairly big dudes. Though I think Colbert's the bigger one. I think he's like 330 something. He would be that nose tackle. The other one, Ojomo, is more so that get to the quarterback type of tackle. And then you got Siaki Ika. Those are like the two biggest like nose tackles. If we can get one of those two guys tomorrow.
Ika's the guy that, like Nathan's saying, that a bunch of us were kind of hoping we were going to get right at that spot.
Mm-hmm.
That would have made a lot of sense, I think. I mean, I haven't interviewed him, but I do think this, Adam. Every single player we have, except for maybe Diggs, that doesn't play defensive line, is a plus player in the run game. Maybe Tariq is a plus. He's right in the middle, but all of those other guys are a plus in the run game.
And that's true, and that's cool. And I'm with you. But here's the problem.
Yeah, no, we know
this is the game of football. And it's analogous to pointing towards the offense and being like, hey, our quarterback's plus, our running back's plus, our wide receivers are plus, but we can't block anybody.
Yeah.
Then what good are all those plus players on the edge and the outside when you can't dominate the most important part of the field? That would be fine too if all of our defensive linemen are better at pass rush than run stopping, which they are at this point.
Yeah.
That's fine if we played in the AFC West, but know your division. That's not where we play. We're playing in the NFC West where the Niners run the snot out of the ball. The Rams, they're definitely going to go back to running the ball more this year.
But where do those teams run it, Adam? And I do think we have we need to put that piece in there. But where did these teams, especially running on us last year, where were we getting killed on the runs? Positionally on the field.
We were getting killed in the A gap. We were getting killed in the B gap. We were getting killed in the C gap. And then we were getting killed around the edge. Like we got killed everywhere.
I thought it was the edge more than anything.
It was the edge a little bit more so than the interior. But, we also had Alwoods last year. And
Mike couldn't tackle on the edge. Kobe couldn't tackle on the edge.
And it was also linebacker issues at the second level. So if they got
tackle on the edge. So we couldn't tackle with corners, couldn't tackle with our nickel, couldn't tackle with our linebackers. And then, yes, we weren't really keeping our middle linebacker, but Brooks was keeping them from killing us. We were getting a hit here and there and here, but we're getting killed on the edges. I feel like the improvement on stopping the run against like the Shanahan type and the, pretty boy hairstyle type run game around the edge, I think we're going to see improvement there, but we got to get the puzzle piece that is going to keep Bobby, that's going to keep Bobby free to handle the middle. Is that too hopeful to say, Adam?
No, it's not. And the thing is that if you get that piece, that's going to be even more important for somebody like Devin Bush, who can't shed a block for the life of him. So if you're going to get anything out of him,
he's not going to be out there much.
It's not going to be out there. And I do agree with you about bringing in Witherspoon and the difference that he could make in the edge run game. And It sounds like Hall could be that sort of player as well.
And
So,
Love.
yeah, in Julian Love as well. So I'm happy with that aspect of it. But if you want to win in this division, you got to play big boy football.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. Now, if you improve enough on the offense to where you're putting up points quickly, and then your opposing offenses, they have to throw the ball to get back into it, then you take them out of the run that way, and you don't have to worry about them running the football.
That is, yeah. And if anything, if the last few like Super Bowl winners have shown us, if you are a top 10 offense, you can have like a 13th to 15th best defense and win the Super Bowl.
You betcha. And I'd love to have the 13th or 15th best defense instead of the 47th. I'm going to invent teams after 32 because we were that bad. But you say, okay, the teams that have won the Super Bowl, they're big offensive scoring. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year because their offensive line was able to neutralize the Eagles' defensive line. And then Chris Jones was able to take over the game late for the Chiefs and push them over the top, and then a couple Mahomes magic plays. They won that game in the trenches. The Eagles got to the Super Bowl in the trenches.
No, I agree with you. No, I get that. And like I said, I agree with you. I really do want us to get, whether it's in the draft or in free agency, get us 1-2 nose tackles.
Yep.
Just to
draft
have
one time
rotation between the nose tackles, just to be able to stop that run.
So
at a minimum, we need to draft one, and probably next soon. And we need to sign one. Somebody like big old Captain Thigh Arms. I feel like a lot of the other pieces, I mean, as I'm talking myself, trying to talk Adam off the ledge here, I'm helping myself a little bit. Not only with Brandon's point, with the offense making it hard for them to keep up, but with the fact that we were getting slaughtered anytime someone wanted the edge, because Darrell Taylor was garbage on the edge in the run game, because Kobe Bryant was terrible on the edge, and Diggs has never been a good run stopper. He missed, that's not what his game is, and that's fine. He shouldn't have to be. And because we're missing Adams, and because Mike always gets pushed back. He's always getting pushed back. I'm thinking about what the plan is here, and the least expensive piece is to just get a space eater and let Bobby do his thing, let Brooks do his thing when they come back, and by the second half of the season, I mean, it might work. There might actually be a better plan here than we're thinking right now. I just don't know why we didn't grab Ika just now and calm all of us tonight.
So, but to Jacob's point, and something you guys hit on just a second ago with, did you just outscore him, and you're going to make it hard for him to keep up? When is Geno at his best? Are we all sold as Geno in the clutchy moments? Because he's done it a time or two, and he's fallen short a few times as well. I don't love Geno in clutchy moments, or when
I like him
you
on
get behind a couple scores and now you got to score a bunch to get back into it. That doesn't play to Geno's strengths.
No, but if we can get points, enough points in the first half, and just do the Pete Carroll run down the clock in the second half and keep them off of their offense, then
so we're gonna flip the entire script of the last 14 years of slow starts offensively, magically this season, and then it's all gonna be okay that we can't stop the run.
Well, I'll put a few lucky pennies in the water fountain at the college right down for more of us, and
I'll put done a better job at it though.
We're gonna have more points per game this year. I'll be shocked if we don't. What was our points per game last year? Anybody remember?
No, I know it off the top of my head, Phil.
Okay, 27.4. No, was it?
Yeah,
I thought you did, Brandon. We were counting on you.
I know. Sorry to let you down.
No, how many points per game would you expect our improvement would be this year, Brandon, from what we've done?
I don't know. What have they done to improve that makes me think that they're going to improve their points per game necessarily, apart from getting depth at receiver.
Well, we got you only think JSN is depth. Okay, if you only think he's depth, then you're probably not that excited.
Well, he's the third receiver.
Yeah.
He is depth.
So to answer Phil's question, number 1 in the league was Kansas City at 29.2. Second was Philly at 29.1.
And we were
the Seattle Seahawks were at 23.9. That's good for 10th in the league. We had a top 10 scoring offense.
Mm-hmm.
And we've put our biggest swings basically into offense. We just haven't really addressed the defense.
Well, more getting more turnovers on defense could help out the points per game.
Those are streaky. You
getting more stops on defense.
Our biggest chip is Spoon.
Yeah.
Our biggest chip was Spoon.
Yeah. A perimeter defender. I don't know, man. This is starting to really get me frustrated. I'm getting mad.
The more I try to encourage you, Adam,
it's every draft for Adam though, until he gets to the end. It's like, oh, okay, well, it kind of makes sense now that I see the full picture.
Shut up. You're right.
I think I'd give day one a grade, an A minus grade around there. So like around a 90 to 95%. Because JSN, yes, he's a great piece, and he'll be a good, if not great, slot receiver when healthy, playing at the top of his game, and really help out that way. But day two so far, I'd give it a B. Like, it's good pieces, not what we wanted.
I give it a C.
I would give it a B minus at the low end. I'm not going to do a straight up C quite yet because I want to look up more on the pieces that we picked up. And I'm a bit more of an optimist than a lot of people, but I think like they're good. I think they're good pieces. They're just not what we were expecting. And I think that's part of like what kind of, shades the picks a bit, because it's not what we wanted. It's not what the fans were expecting. It wasn't anything in the trenches. It wasn't anything in the front, the front seven of the defense. But it's except for Hall. But he's potentially a good outside run stopper. But we wanted interior, and we didn't get that.
On day two, we selected a rotational edge player and a backup running back, and a third-round pick for next year. That was day two. If you can tell me that's better than a C, okay.
I can't go better than a C. I can go A for day one.
Yeah, with the stock,
I go B plus
for day one.
Yeah,
with the stock,
I'm not nearly as high on the JSN pick.
With the stock we had going into day two, I don't know how this could be exciting or fulfilling, even with what we had to start with coming into tonight. Unless you're a huge Charbonnet lover, that's the only thing I could get. But I mean, we do need another running back. I get it. Is he that much of an improvement over a backup we could have got tomorrow? You guys would have to tell me.
Barry makes a good point. I feel like we're mad about a player being gone that hasn't come off the board yet.
No, to get Mozzie, we would have had to got Mozzie instead of JSN, pretty much.
Yeah,
right.
Very much.
Sign me up. I'm dead serious.
Okay. Oh no,
dead serious. An undersized receiver who missed an entire season last year because of a hammy. Like, if that doesn't scream concern to you, I don't know what does. Yes, his production was off the charts the year before. He was the best receiver on the field with other NFL caliber good receivers.
Yeah,
great. But man, I've seen this movie before.
But I also think that Mozzie went higher than most people expected. I think people were looking at him as kind of early second round, middle, maybe a solid second rounder. I didn't see a whole lot of people projecting him at the back end of the first.
I just don't understand how you don't use any of your top four picks to address the biggest need on your team, and it's not even close.
Because
they use their $20 million check on the first day of free agency to address the biggest need on the team, and that was getting Draymond Jones.
And that's what Snyder said.
But that's just the thing. Like, this is my biggest problem with the Draymond Jones part. He is a pass rusher. He is not a run defender. He's a big pass rusher. Like, we can't be like, oh, we got Draymond Jones. Check. Like, it's not his game. And I don't know.
Well, they also got Jaron Reed. So
He's a pass rusher kind of anymore, isn't he?
I think he left to try and be a pass rusher, but he used to be a run stuffer, solid run stuffer when he was here in Seattle.
He's more of a run stuffer. So I mean, if you want to, if that's what the Seahawks believe, now they brought that up and this kind of jogged that for me. If the Seahawks believe that he's going to be kind of like our new run stuffer, I can see as to why they're waiting to like 4th, 5th, 6th round to get another defensive tackle to be that run stuffer, since we brought him back and that's more of his style of play. He never really showed off as that pass rusher for Kansas City till like what? They got to the playoffs, and then he got a few sacks in there during the playoffs, and that's where he's shown as a pass rusher. The rest of the time, he was just a run stopper. That's all he really. Yeah, that's his play style.
I'll check it out, Barry. By the way, from the comment,
I like the Jared Clark idea. That's a good call.
Yeah.
There's a few in there that are good calls, I think. And think about it. Puna was good his very first year, and he wasn't even drafted.
Yeah.
So a lot of those players.
I know, but what the amount of times you hit on those are low, like they're the very low probability scratch offs. Like, we're picking in the high probability scratch off, or we just were, but they're gone now. The scratch off, they've been scratched.
No, I get it. But a ton of run stuffing nose tackles don't get drafted high. That's just how it is these days. If you don't make a difference in the pass game, they're not interested in you in the first 2 days.
I don't get it. I don't understand how the value of trenches and run game, both stopping and the offense ability to do it, like how people.
So you were counting on Mozzie being the guy to save the defense and stop the run, because now he's off the board. There's nobody left.
What I'm saying is that getting a guy that you feel like you can plug in day one and count on, the odds of that being a 2nd round pick are much higher than a 6th round pick.
Oh, sure. But I mean, Brandon Mebane was a back end of the 3rd round guy. And that was.
We're not picking him either. You know what I mean? We're not picking at the back end of the 3rd anymore.
Adam, who's a top paid tackle that doesn't get sacks?
What's that?
Who's a high paid defensive tackle that doesn't get sacks?
Just because they're not paid doesn't mean that their value isn't extreme. Like, it's just, it's like the running back discussion. Like, can't take a running back in the 1st. Like, I disagree. I just
like value. That sounds like you just talked about value. You
value
said
in terms
of paid. They're not.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like, the value is messed up. Like, the importance has been skewed to this pass happy nonsense of Rams, Kansas City, back in Mexico City. Like, that's where the league seems to be shifting. And I just watched the Philadelphia Eagles go, oh, that's what you're all doing? Guess what? We're going to cram it down your throat and make sure you can't do the same. Yeah. And they went to a Super Bowl with a running back, a quarterback.
That's great. I'm not arguing your point that they're valuable or not. The reason Chris Jones makes money isn't just because he can make a difference in the run game. It's because he smashes quarterbacks all the time and he destroys the blocking scheme so guys can get after the quarterback. There's nobody that doesn't rush the passer as a defensive tackle, nose tackle, that gets paid a lot or gets drafted high. It just doesn't, it almost never happens. In this board game, which is the NFL, the way that choices are made, they're made in that manner. Whether your point is correct or not, that they're super valuable, the way the pieces are used, the way the resources are invested, when they don't rush the pass on the defensive line, they don't make a lot, they don't get drafted high. That's just how I see it. I'm not sure if I'm, but that's what I've been looking at.
Oh, no.
I get you. No. But then you get Chris Jones. Where do you get Chris Jones and players of that ilk? You get them early.
Yeah. No, if you want somebody, yeah.
Well,
if
you
Jalen
have.
Carter
I
had
mean,
the
you got to
character,
take
we'd
them
have
at the
taken-
top 10, 15.
What's
Yeah.
that, Brandon?
Chris Jones guys, you have to take in the top 10, 15, and
Yes.
Yup.
If they rush the passer from the middle, if they're Cortez Kennedy, if they're
but they had
Aaron
their chance to do that with Carter, and
if
I
Carter's
think, and they made their
character was
choice.
good, we would have taken him. I think there's no doubt, Adam, if he was a guy they believed in, they would have taken him. Even though Spoon was totally their guy, I think they would have, because he would have made the difference.
Well, James can tell me I'm smoking all day long. In fact, I was just puffing on my cigar. Excuse me for not placing wide receiver 3 as a giant position of value. I just, it's a perimeter, like it's the cherry on top. Build the rest of your team, and then you place in a JSN like that. That's how you build.
You're never going to get.
And if James can guarantee me that he's not going to miss an entire season based off of a soft tissue problem, much like Eskridge, Pro Size, Penny, go down the list of some of these guys that we have counted on that had these injury histories, then okay, great. He was a great big pickup.
Yep. No, I mean, for me, it's like, it boggles my mind that positions like defensive tackle, running back, and center aren't valued as high as they are. Having a center who can tell the rest of the line, hey, this is, you see this here, you need to stop this guy. See how this guy's shifting? We need to stop there and snap the ball correctly and protect the quarterback. How that's not like a first round worthy pick more often than not. How that's not one. How a guy like Austin Eckler, who had more yards than practically anyone else in the league last year, seeking a trade, and no one was like, oh yeah, sure. Well, like, I was shocked that Austin Eckler was not like on anyone's radar this offseason. And so he's going to be with the Chargers this year, and he's pissed. And I'm with him. He should have been valued. He had more yards than pretty much any other running back and wide receiver. If you told me that one of the running backs in this first round was an Austin Eckler, sign me up for a top 5 pick. Because that's a valuable piece right there. How positions like that, or like a nose tackle, is the next Vince Wilfork. Sign me up. I will take him. He can stop the run, and he can still get after the quarterback, but that's not his big thing. His big thing is pancaking offensive linemen and making running backs look like small children. That was Vince Wilfork's game. How players like that aren't valued high in the draft, aren't like thought of as like top 5 players more often than not in draft picks, is beyond me. I'm with you, Adam. Like, I myself am an old school ground and pound, beat it in the trenches type of football guy. That's what I like to watch. That's what I like to see. I loved watching the Eagles last year because that was their game. Let's beat you in the trenches. Let's beat you in the run. I'm not a big high fly passing all over. I love seeing cool catches, but that's not my favorite part of the game. I love seeing runs. I love seeing people beat each other in the trenches. That's what I like to see. How players like that aren't valued high in the draft anymore is beyond me.
To the Eckler thing, like, I think what he's running into is the second contract running back doesn't have much value. And in that sense, I do agree with the NFL.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'd pay hardly any backs a second contract. I just don't think it's worth it. I think you get your draft capital back as much as you can. You trade them and, move on and try to find the next guy, because the shelf life is so short with the wear and tear on the body. But like most of the linemen, whether you're interior lineman, offensive or defensive, that's a 10-year career if you're good. Like, they almost always play that long. I don't know, man.
We lost Broderick Martin. All my hopes of Broderick Martin are gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's one of your nose tackles from Western Kentucky going.
Now they're running
the back end of the 3rd round to the Lions. Yeah, we'll see if there's a run.
Ricky Stromberg to the Commanders. They finally got themselves.
But Whippler's still out there. I can't believe
Whippler's still out there. Yeah.
Yep.
I like Whippler.
Let's see.
Oh, we just got
Ika's still there, and Clark's still there. I mean, there's some choices.
There's still guys. And that has to be why they decided to trade back here, because there was still enough depth that they felt like they could pick up another pick next year. And I saw somebody in the chat ask if they were picking up picks to maybe trade up for a quarterback next year. And I don't think a third rounder is going to help you with trading up for a quarterback in 2024. But
I mean, if folks haven't gotten it through their head yet that they're all in on Geno after this draft, like I genuinely don't know what to tell you. I really don't.
Just wait till the Manning kid comes into the NFL, starts his draft, and we'll pick him up in the draft. That's going to be towards the end of Geno's career in Seattle. We could easily,
it's possible.
Like if they save up some draft picks and pick him up.
Well, the other thing too, people are like, well, Geno's old. He's not going to play for very long. It's like, well, he doesn't have any wear and tear on his body. Like he's only 31. You're telling me he can't play another 5 years pretty easily?
He's younger than Wilson. Like he's good.
And the way he plays the game is not taking a whole lot of hits and to where he would sustain injuries. So
I mean, where were all these folks when Russ was a quarterback saying we need the quarterback of the future? When you have a quarterback that's setting franchise records,
the Browns
like Geno
taking Ika.
I'm dying slowly right now.
This is so fucked up. God damn it. Sorry, Phil.
I told you this was going to be a tough stretch here.
I feel bad that I just can't help Adam feel better because I'm having a hard time staying happy. I don't know why we had to help Denver out just because they gave us an awesome draft haul for Russell. Why we had to throw him a bone and hook him up and ruin our draft class.
Man, well,
we could have had Ika or Martin, two guys that could have been exactly the type of thing that could have been a help to just eat.
There's still space. Guys though. That's
Clark. That's it. Brandon, we're down to Clark.
Okay, there's one guy left.
Keandre Coburn, 322 pounds, 6'2". He's still available. He's a nose tackle. We can still get him. He's a big dude.
Coburn, okay.
Coburn.
It does feel like an unnecessary trade now.
From the terrible big,
It does.
From Brandon's terrible division.
My terrible division?
He plays for Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what they call it anymore. Big 12, Big 20.
Didn't they move to the SEC or something crazy?
Yeah. They're going to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in like it takes like 3 years to actually move.
What are they just going to call
Jake Moody?
College
there he
football,
goes. Hey, Jake Moody goes to the 49ers. He was the top scorer in college last year.
Oh,
as a kicker.
No, Robbie Gold
kicker in the third round. Are you
kicker in the third round? They had umpteen comp picks though, so it's not.
I mean, I guess.
Is he really good at being a kicker?
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another one of those positions that people crap can because of value, and every time that you're down 2 and you're on the 35 with 3 seconds left and your guy trots out there, are you wishing they picked the really good one in the third? Or the undrafted dude who's mostly makes it.
No, I don't want to pick one. Let another team pick one and we'll hire him if we find out he's good.
I guess.
And these are bonus picks for the 49ers, so sure.
Yeah, but they didn't have many picks before.
And they don't have a lot of holes.
I guess.
Well, that's the other part.
That's true.
They kind of don't. That's really annoying to say.
Yeah.
Come on,
it's making me even madder.
2 nights in a row, you're just building.
But we didn't need a kicker, so they didn't take anybody off our board. So thank you, Niners.
I'm totally down.
No, I wanted them to go the retread veteran kicker route. You know, the guy that was good there for a minute and then mentally loses it and comes back and kind of has it partially back and then costs him 3 games. And
Blair Walsh. We need them to get Blair Walsh instead.
Yes. Yeah, we do. We need to get Blair Walsh.
The Niners need a corner, and there's some good ones out there. I don't understand this kick. Well, they're going to pick again in maybe they're worried the Raiders are going to take him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought they had 3 here. Did they trade one away?
Yeah. Yeah, the last one. Pick 39 to give it to the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh. There it is.
The Niners didn't take a corner earlier, did they?
Not that I
Who do the
recall.
Niners have?
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
see.
Ringo's still there. Phillips, Rush, Terrell Smith. There's quite a few. I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do because there's so many. They're going to take him next.
Are you talking corner?
Worried? What's that?
Are you talking corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, the Niners picked. No, they've just gone safety and kicker. The first two picks. Their first two picks are safety and kicker.
It's where their holes are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And they got,
they have
one of the
one,
better
two,
ones at both those. So
5, 6, 7. They have 8 more picks.
The Lions finally are doing something today. They were terrible yesterday, but
Yeah.
I didn't hate the running back pick as much as most. I
No.
mean,
I like Gibbs.
yeah,
The
it
thing
takes
is,
some more pressure off of Goff.
if you flip flop Gibbs and Branch for the Lions, like nobody would be upset.
Yeah,
True
'cause
fact.
that's kind of how we felt with our draft last year on a couple of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, get the guy you want.
Yeah, get the guy you want, and if they work out, then they can call all of us idiots, right?
I actually
Gosh.
didn't hate what the Cardinals did yesterday. The way they got themselves some picks and still got
I hate
their guy.
They'd say
David,
that.
we could let DT go, and that's all fine and dandy. But the reason why it's upsetting me as much as it is in the moment is that their ability to go out and sign a few of those dudes to come in and play is severely diminished because of where they're at on the cap. So there's not a backstop option really.
They can make money to sign a $2 million defensive tackle.
Maybe.
Magic.
And there's going to be guys that other teams where they, watch the Lions who drafted defensive tackle. Do they have a veteran that they now cast off in free agency to where you can bring in a dude who's 28 instead of, 22 or 23, who's a veteran presence in the middle of the line who stops the run? Those guys,
It's like
they come up in May. They come up again in training camp when cuts are made. Those guys are always there.
And it's Quentin Jefferson level type guys. Like, cool, I know the name. He's had a good
That's
year.
how they got Al Woods.
He's expensive. Jefferson's expensive because he rushes the passer. He's terrible in the run game.
A little bit rushes the passer.
A little bit, yeah. Exactly.
Didn't he have like 6
He wasn't
sacks?
that great at stopping the run either. Like, I
he's
don't want to bring
terrible.
Jefferson back.
No, he was awful in the run game.
I'm
He
going to
was
say, so
pressure.
at his position for his skill set, if you compared all the guys who are pass rushers, not great against the run at his size, who play, 5 tech or 3 tech, whatever it was that he was playing, like he's a C- player. So if let's say the Lions do release a veteran and you go get him, now you're getting the C- run stuffer. Like
They only need C and B run stuffers.
He just has to block for Brooks and Wagner.
how do you only need C and D run stuffers when you play with
Because
in the
they had
conference where
D
we're
and
running
F
the
run
ball as a
stuffers
premium?
last year. We're only trying to get to a top 10, 15 defense.
So Jefferson was paid like double what Al Woods was because Jefferson provides pressures. That's it. Al Woods.
Well, I get it.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for his ilk and his comps, Quentin Jefferson, he's not a difference maker for what he does. Like, whoever the cast off is from whatever team that you pay 1.2 for a season.
Yeah. Brandon's right. We can get some guys that can't rush the passer but take up blockers
That are C level in that tier of that type of player.
Yeah.
There you go. Al Woods, 4th round pick.
Okay.
I mean,
Just for his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just get Keandre Coburn if he's still there in the 4th round, and then bring back Al Woods, and we have Jerron Reed. There's 3 run stoppers right there.
Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's the plan.
Yeah. Cameron Latu, tight end.
Bring Ataba Rubin out of retirement.
Yeah.
I forgot
T-Mac.
about him. Yeah.
T-Mac, Tuba, Mebane.
Yeah. Bring back Mebane. I want those belly dances when he pancakes someone. Let's just.
We're going a ways back for
I'll take
run
Red
stopping
Bryant back.
defensive tackles,
That'll be
veterans.
fine.
We're the
Yeah.
sixth.
See,
pick
I'm
tomorrow.
with David. Wait till June. We can get veteran pieces.
Don't give up on them yet, Adam. That's
But
all I'm saying.
also, the 4th round is coming up. So
I mean, yeah, we've got plenty more rounds to go.
Cameron Latu goes to the Niners. So
I just
mean-
would have rather found a wide receiver 3 in June, a la Marquise Goodwin,
sure.
Yeah.
than pass on defensive interior, like
Yeah.
and try to pick that up as the cheap vet piece.
I mean, for me, I wanted to I was looking towards the guy that the Cardinals picked, Michael Wilson out of Stanford. I guess he trained a bit with Doug Baldwin. I'm like, he would have been a guy that would have been interesting to bring in as a wide receiver 3 and have instead have that Mozzie Smith in the first round. If our first round would have been Spoon and Mozzie Smith, good.
Yeah.
We're solid there. But you know what? You guys talked me down. I'd say day 2 is, I guess, more of a C. I got talked down a bit from there, but I still say day 1 was still more so like that A- type range. I still liked it. It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I think the picks fit the team, and that's what I really like about day 1 is
They do.
the picks are the best at their position ranked wise.
Yeah.
And they fit the team and the style that we like to play. So day 1 to me was a success. Day 2, I just don't know much about the players that we picked and that we traded out with our last pick back into the 4th round. I hope we get some good players in the 4th. Then now we got 2 picks. Can we please get someone on the front 7 or interior offensive line tomorrow, please?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I love day 1. I'm having a hard time not hating this Friday. I had way higher expectations. But
Yeah. There we go. Last pick, USC cornerback Mekhi Blackman to Minnesota.
I thought the Niners might take him, but they took a tight end.
Right.
Yep.
So we're number 6 tomorrow morning.
All right, there we go. We made it through round 3.
Did
Yes,
we?
we did.
Well, Adam left his soul somewhere.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'll join you in a drink, Adam. Once we get off, we'll just.
I appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you. Yeah. Just man.
Wait till
so
tomorrow.
much,
Adam.
just so much draft capital to fix a god awful defense, and we took 2 players at relative positions of strength on the defense. Neat. I love Witherspoon. I do. I'm actually fired up about Witherspoon. I don't want to poo-poo that at all. I think that's going to be really cool. But yeah,
we can say we have the best secondary in the league based off of just talent and depth, because we do have talent and depth in our secondary. And Pete basically just recreated the Legion of Boom 2.0, hopefully with our secondary that we have now.
I just remember the last time we were saying this.
Yeah,
I remember the last time we were saying this.
I feel better about it.
I feel better about it this time too. Yeah.
I'm knocking on some wood here, and I'm gonna be saying a few Hail Marys when we get off here, just to make sure we don't jinx ourselves. And
I'm gonna go watch some Derek Hall highlights too. So
yeah, that's kind of what
maybe that'll cheer me up.
I need
All right.
that.
Well, we will be back. Probably not live streaming tomorrow, but we will. Well, we may live stream after the draft once all the picks are in, and we can talk about them then. So until tomorrow, everybody.
Adam will be encouraged by tomorrow night. I have a feeling.
Gotta hope. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Defensive tackles matter.